What's up, Facebook family? This is your boy Lasar, and I'm at it once again. I just wanted to talk to you about a couple of things or whatever that's been on my mind for the past few weeks. I don't know if y'all heard about the anti-racist Asian crime bill or whatever. Well, they haven't created a crime bill as of yet, but Joe Biden he drafted some legislation to assist Asians with racist hate crimes. Now it's so funny that 3 days into his candidacy that he drafted a bill to assist Asians against racial attacks. Now we don't know where these racial attacks coming from. The media narrative states that most of the racial crimes are coming from black people. Every time they show you a video, they show you a video of an Asian being pushed to the ground. Now, we got thousands of videos on Facebook of black people being gunned down, unarmed black people being gunned down, women and children being beaten, harassed, tased, choked out, and everything. But Joe Biden hasn't created any legislation to assist us. We go under the minority status. Now, when they talk about minorities, they always talking about, we think they talking about us being minorities, but when they say minority, that's a code word. It doesn't mean black. It means anybody. You can be Vietnamese, Cambodian, from Pakistan. You can have a hunchback, LGBT, Jewish women, short Mexican, anybody in a category where their numbers are lower as opposed to the mainstream American population. That means minority. It doesn't mean black. So Joe Biden has to draft legislation for hate crime bills that names us specifically. They have to create a anti-racist hate crimes bill for African American peoples, because we are the ones that's being primarily targeted, and it's all on camera. The world knows that we are under racist persecution here in the United States. Thousands of videos have been uploaded by viewers around the country of these various hate crimes coming from the police, coming from white vigilantes, coming from racists, coming from other immigrant minorities against us. But they haven't drafted any legislation. But 3 days, a couple of days into Joe Biden's candidacy, he has created a hate crimes bill to assist Asians. No one is killing Asian men, women, and children. No one is choking them out. The cops are not beating them. They're not being tased. They're not being followed around. They're not being persecuted. There's a pogrom going on here in the United States of America, and that's a Jewish term that means persecution. A pogrom. There's a pogrom against African American people here in the United States because they're trying to scare us into a submission so that they can create Jim Crow 2.0, where we'll be locked out of all public ordinances. We won't be able to go into certain places because they have their Karens on deck to just call the police if they see us in white spaces. So first they have to initiate terror. The black population has to be terrorized into submission where they will know their place so that they will be afraid to enter any white spaces for fear of a Karen calling the police and them being beaten. So we are in 2021 and all the old racial codes and racial laws have resurfaced. So they're trying to reenact Jim Crow once again. They're trying to turn America into a apartheid nation. To me, it's already occurred. We are already in a state of apartheid. We have already been alienated and contained and confined to the ghettos. If we step outside those boundaries of the ghetto, We are at risk of being profiled, beaten, cops called on us for the most meagerest things. Going to a park, in a library, in Starbucks, just walking down the street. We can be harassed for any reason. But yet, to add insult to injury, you got Joe Biden enacting this anti-Asian hate crimes legislation. It's called distraction because in the media all around the world, all the world is watching America, and they see how America has been treating its American citizens. On news the other day, the Asians had cited America for human rights violations. Because usually America goes out and they cite other nations, other third world nations for human rights violations, claiming that they kill their own people. But America incarcerates the mass majority of its peoples. We have the highest incarceration of people in the world. You got 2.5, now that's an old stat. You got 2.5 million blacks incarcerated. That was an old stat. It might be more. This 2021, that was a stat given like about 5 or 6 years ago, 2.5 million. It might be more now. So you got more black men incarcerated than in any place on earth. Even in the former racist apartheid state, South Africa, there are more blacks incarcerated here, yet we claim that this is a free country. It could be farther from the truth. It's 2021, and all the police forces are being concentrated in black neighborhoods. When you go to suburbia, when you go to suburbia, when you go to rural areas, there are no police, period. All the police forces are being concentrated in the ghettos. Why? Because we have been declared, unofficially, we have been declared enemy of the state. And their job is to round up, harass, beat, taser, and kill as many black males and terrorize the women and children into submission. Now, in order, a state of war has been declared, basically. And when you're in a state of war, all constitutional amendments are off the table. All constitutional members. So basically, we have no rights that they are bound to respect. So that's why we're constantly protesting, constantly crying out as a result of the injustices that's being visited upon us. And we are getting no redress. We are getting no legal remedy for the various human rights violations. It's no longer civil rights violations. We can take this to world court, and we will win in world court if the world court recognized our status as a refugee people. At this point, I don't even think that African Americans are citizens, because a legal immigrant has more rights. A dog has more rights than an African American person born here in these states. Now, we built the country. We fought in all its wars. We have proved our patriotism above and beyond the level. We are the true patriots. Now, you got other people that come here and claim that they built the country. We have been here for more than 500 years. And we built the country from the ground up. It was our labor, our sweat, our blood, our tears. We gave America culture. We gave it jazz, the blues, rock and roll, hip hop, even folk music. We gave it its dance. We are the flavor that gives America its spice. but yet we go unrecognized. Yet they try to erase our history. We have a noble history here. Many of the inventions that many people take for granted were created by us. But yet we have no rights that they are bound to respect. So Dred Scott, the Dred Scott decision is still in full effect. Now, if any of you know about Dred Scott tried to sue for freedom, and he lost in court because they said that the black man has no rights that the white man is bound to respect, and these laws are still on the books. So now they bringing in. So now they creating a buffer class. They creating anti-Asian legislation to assist Asians with hate crimes. No one is oppressing Asians. Asians can move anywhere freely throughout the United States of America unperturbed. White vigilantes won't run up on the Asians. They won't be profiled on the streets. They won't be stopped by the cops and killed. Their children won't be beaten. They won't run up in the house of an Asian person and shoot them on sight. But these things occur frequently in our communities. It's pattern behavior by law enforcement, by the government at large. But yet they're trying to distract us. They're creating a legislation to distract the American public from the real issue. We see Black Lives Matter. They were out in the streets during the summer heavy. No, I don't co-sign Black Lives Matter because that's a LGBT front organization. However, we have a lot of grassroots organizations that have been out in the street protesting the injustices that have been visited upon us. And enough is enough. Draft legislation to assist African Americans for hate crimes and other racial injustices. Lock 2 or 3 cops up because they be doing this shit on camera. They openly kill us on camera, and people when they say justice is blind, bro. Justice is truly blind because you can have the murders being committed on camera. And they acquit these officers and say that there's no precedent for them to be incarcerated, that they were doing their jobs. The same thing happened during Nazi Germany. The Nazis, when they went to the Nuremberg war crimes tribunal, the same thing happened to the Nazis. They just said they were doing their job. They were told by their governments to engage in an ethnic cleansing campaign against the Jews. So they rounded them up, put them in concentration camps, murdered them wholesale. They had wholesale massacres and all type of shit like that. And when they went to the war crimes tribunal, they said they just was doing their job. And the police also believe that they are doing their job. Their job is to contain a certain population because they believe that we are undesirables. Because the media has created a narrative that we are the criminal class, that we are dangerous, that we are a threat to society. So if the media has created a narrative that we are a threat to society, society is gonna even non-whites they believe the narrative. Immigrants, Arabs, Asians. African immigrants, Mexican immigrants, all these people believe the narrative that has been created by the United States media that we are somehow a threat, that we are uneducated, that we are lazy, that we are dirty people, that we are crime prone, sex crazed. And so they don't want to have any social interaction with us. They don't want to do business with. It's just a parasitical relationship between us and the broader society. We have no allies. So if you are African American, at this time you have to stand on your square. You have to gather your men, women, and children. You have to protect your men. You have to protect your women and children. You have to stand up like a man. It's no longer time for these games because everything that happened, we are at the front lines. We be caping for everybody. We stand on the protest line for the immigrants. We stand on line for the LGBT. We stand online for the Jews, the women, everybody. We stand online and protest on their behalf so that they can secure rights that we don't enjoy ourselves. And then once we help them to secure rights, they turn their back on us. Black people, wake up. Understand your history, from whence you have came. Know who you are. And stop caping for other people, looking for their acceptance. We continue to look for acceptance from whites, from minorities, from immigrants. We're looking for their acceptance because we don't love ourselves. We must begin to love ourselves. The time is up. Black man, stand on your square. And we have to pull our women up too. Our enemies are trying to use divide and conquer tactics in order to separate us from our women. Right now in the media, all you see is black women, black women, black women, they lifting up black women magic, black women entrepreneurs, black women, black women's in business and all. They lifting them up and they putting them on a pedestal so that they can look down on us and think that they don't need us, that we're no longer needed in the community. And that could be farther from the truth, because every other people, the Arabs, the Chinese, the Middle Eastern people, their families are intact. They got they have husbands, wives, and children, and they come here culturally intact. And they stand on their culture, and they live under their cultural mores while they live here, and they create businesses and other endeavors in order to economically uplift their community. But if we're separated, if the black, all you hear is black woman this, black woman that, but we are one people. It's black men, black women, black children. We are all a part of one community, one collective. It is not black women over here and black men over there. But the media has created a narrative basically putting black women in a protective status where they're separated from us. Even black women, to a large degree, believe the narrative that they can do better, bad or by themselves, that they don't need black men, that they're independent, that they're strong. No other people on earth, or no other woman on earth, think they can do it all alone without their man. The only woman on earth that believe they can do it all without their man is the black woman, because she has been indoctrinated by the media propaganda that has been going on for over 50 years. They have been indoctrinated from birth. Their mothers and their mothers have told them, don't rely on no black man because they are unreliable, because what they have seen in the media or what personal experience they have faced. But that can be further from the truth. Black men love their children. Black men love their families. Black men are hardworking. Black men want to build for their community. Of course, you have undesirable elements, you have the criminal element, but you have that in every community. You have Chinese gangsters. You have the Arabic underground where people selling coke and different things like that. You have white underground crime figures. You have crime figures in every community that work on the underground, bootlegging liquor, prostitution, drug dealing, all this stuff, illegal gambling, in every community. But the media only focuses on the black community. Every day when you look in the media, when you look on TV, I forget the name, but anyway, when you look on most of the media outlets or whatever, all they show is crimes committed by black people. So you believe that the only people that's committing crimes is primarily black people, but everybody commits crimes. But they only want to show one narrative, one side of the story, so that everybody on earth can believe that we are a threat to America's social order. And in addition, to add insult to injury, They're creating a narrative. Now, you've seen it all in the movies. They have all these different movies where it appears as though the black people are racist towards whites. Like the white want to marry a black woman, and you have movies with Bernie Mac or whatever. I was watching a couple of movies. They're trying to create a theme where they're doing reverse racism. It's actually us that don't like white people, and we don't want them in our spaces, and we are being racist towards them, and the whites don't understand why we don't want them in our spaces, and why are we being racist. We're not racist toward anybody, because racism is prejudice plus power. We don't have the power to lock you out from job industries, to lock you out from housing, to lock you out from schooling, to lock you out from business loans and different things. We don't have that power. We don't have the power to enact laws that primarily impact the right for you to have a family, the right for you to take care of your children. We don't have that power. So we can't be racist. So that's just disingenuous all in itself. But they're trying to create a narrative whereas we are being labeled the racist. And other people believe it. This narrative is being spread throughout the world. So they actually switched the narrative and got people all over the world believing that blacks are racist towards whites. They call it reverse racism. There's no such thing as reverse racism. Whites can freely come into our spaces. They can come into our clubs. They can come into our every black space that exists. They can enter it and not be disturbed whatsoever. We actually welcome them. We sit down and laugh with them and try to make friends with them, because we want to understand who they are. They know who we are. And those who are unconscious still don't know who the white man is. But those who are conscious, they know who the white man is. So we're only protecting ourselves from being from our institutions being watered down and destroyed, because every time they come into our midst, they come not to add on but to destroy. They don't want nothing pure black. Everybody has the right to have their Asian institutions. They have the right to have their Mexican institutions and social clubs, white institutions and social clubs. But anytime we do something on our own that's strictly and primarily for us, they have to send in outsiders to try to water it down. And if they can't water it down or infiltrate it and have all different type of people in our social spaces that's primarily meant for us, then they said we are black militants, we're separatists. But everybody is practicing separatism, economically and financially. Everyone is practicing separatism. They stand on, they abide by their own interests. They create their stores for their people and their families. You understand? But when we have something, everybody got to be a part of it. Everybody, the whites, the Spanish, the Arabs, the white, everybody has to be a part of it. We can't have nothing of our own. We can't celebrate ourselves. Every time we celebrate ourselves, people got to try to co-opt our culture or anything that we create and water it down or steal it and say they created it. We are the gods of this planet. We are the cultural innovators of this planet. Everything that we have created has been co-opted and taken by other peoples and used by them. We are the genie in the bottle. Once you open the bottle, the genie comes out and we create. We create magnificent things that the world has never seen, art that the world has never seen, music that the world has never seen. And they study us. So understand that you are the template of this world. You are the God of this world. But they want to crush you down to the earth, suppress you, keep you invisible, keep you voiceless, keep you politically inept, keep you socially and economically castrated. Because when they allow a level playing field, we always dominate. We always gain mastery in every field. Basketball, baseball, UFC, hockey. You have people dominating all. You have Tiger Woods. You have Serena and Venus Williams. You have all the boxers. We dominate every a sport and field, all type of areas. We dominate. So they're afraid if they allow us access to science and mathematics that we will dominate and we will build the pyramids as we did once before. And they can't have that. They can't stand on that type of competition, because just like Jesse Owens in the 1940s, when he went against the Aryan Superman, and they said that it was a myth of the Aryan Superman that the white Nazis could not be beaten in any field, in boxing, in track and field, in anything, because they were superior. Jesse Owens went and dominated track and field in front of Hitler. And he embarrassed and broke the myth of the Aryan Superman. So I want you guys, I want all my black people, I want all my black men and women, I want you to come together, because I believe that the black man is God. I believe that the black woman is goddess. And if we're separate, we can't build the divine kingdom back here on earth with our beautiful children. They want to feminize the black male, and they want to masculinize the black female. So their job is, do the LGBT movement, is to feminize the black male, masculinize the black female, so that the black boys and girls will be thoroughly confused. So stand on your square, black men. Uphold your families. Be the leaders, the kings, the warriors, the priests. Stay in your households. Though I know it's difficult, because our women have been indoctrinated to this feminist doctrine, and this Americanization. But you have to stand. You cannot give up. Our ancestors didn't give up, and they were under more threat of physical injury. I mean, the system was diametrically opposed to our upliftment, and we were able to do magnificent things under such societal pressure. Don't give up. Keep pushing. The mountain is yours. There is no limit. Sky is not the limit. You can go as high as you can possibly dream of. Keep pushing and never stop. Never give up. Because the world is yours, and it will be yours again. But you have to believe it. If you don't believe it, then you can't achieve it, and you can't be it, and you can't do it. You got to believe. I believe it, because I stand on the will of my ancestors. I stand on the will of the gods who hold me up in their right hand. And I don't believe the narrative of our enemies. And we will win. Black power.